Bro, so I've consistently done 30K days before in the past, and actually just came off of one the other day. And the thing is, people don't know this, especially people that have not made money online and haven't been in the business space. Bro, it's not that much money when you start to realize the amount of liabilities that you have when you're making that type of money. Like, if you go one bad month, right? And in one bad month, you could lose 50 to 100,000 like easily in one bad month, right? And so the point behind that is you go on to make 30K in a day and you start to notice the amount of things that you have to pay off. You have to pay this off, to pay that off, have to pay off some staff. And you start to realize, like, at the end of the year, it's very easy for you to be left with nothing, which is why a lot of people in this space that are making money, that are buying like the supercars and all that shit, tend to not realize, like, yo, that stuff is temporary up until the point that, you know, you start to have one bad month and certain numbers start to go down. It's kind of like any other space, right? Like, you see people get in the music industry and start making a whole bunch of money in the music industry, and then it's like you can't get a hit song anymore, and you always have to do something to stay relevant. It's the same thing in the business space. It's the same thing if you're running an agency. Like, you might have an offer, perform for 2-3 years, and you might go on to make, you know, $2 or $3 million over the course of those couple of years, and then boops, you wake up and you end up in a position where you're like, damn, my offer is not performing anymore. And it's crazy because I actually went through this, and it's like, I was never one to go out and buy supercars and shit like that, even though I had the opportunity to. What I actually did was I took money and I threw it in real estate. The biggest thing with that, and the reason why I did that, was because I'm thinking about it and I'm like, yo, I have X amount of money right now. It's very easy for you to mentally look at something and be like, oh, you know, a Lamb is only like 150, 200,000. A McLaren's only like 150, 200,000. And imagine, like, you're sitting on $1 million, $2 million, and you're looking at this. So what I did is, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take this money and I'm gonna throw it into something that's gonna hold value, if not appreciate, that I could get paid off by somebody that's gonna rent it, right? And the whole purpose behind this is I wanted to constantly keep myself in a mindset where I'm always grinding, because if all the money that I have in my account gets allocated to this investment, and this investment, liquid cash, I don't have much, right? Liquid capital, I don't have much. So the thing is, I'm always in that hustler's mentality where it's like, I gotta get up, I gotta grind, I gotta go get it, right? Where most people don't necessarily allow themselves to be in that headspace. But at the end of the day, all I'm really doing is setting a foundation for myself. But I know that at the end of the day, cash is king, right? So if you're allocating your cash to different places and you don't have access to it, the only way to have access to money is to force yourself to make more, right? So I've never really gotten the opportunity to kind of just chill, sit on money and do anything. Not only that, especially in the agency space, you don't realize, like, the amount of money that, you know, you're held liable to because you have to perform on your services. So my thing is, I've been prioritizing building out a quality service over the past couple of years. I've been prioritizing that, and I've gone through a lot of hardships with it. Because it's like, the thing that you're capable of doing for yourself at a high scale, but just for yourself, if you do that on a much bigger scale with 50 to 100 people, the amount of systems that you don't realize you have to start building out, and the amount of people that you have to break bread with and pay out to make sure that you can perform these services at the highest level possible. Like, it's crazy. So I've gone on to do a couple $1 million in the agency space, but off of that, it's like, bro, you start to realize, you want to have higher margins, or do you want to perform a better service? And the issue is, most people aren't willing to allocate their funds towards performing the best service possible. Like, that's the only way for you guys to survive in the space. Because if you try to keep your margins high by breaking bread on a low scale, like, let's say you have like a fucking 70 to 80% margin, well, shit, bro, there's absolutely no way that you're going to perform a service to the highest standard possible and be keeping or maintaining those type of margins. It just doesn't happen. So the other thing is, if you're performing these services, what is the purpose? I'm gonna pass police right now. Fuck. What is the purpose of you performing services for people and people to pay you to perform a service for them, if all you're gonna do with that money is go pay somebody else, perform the service, and then it's like you're held liable to those funds and you're not making money off of it, right? So the biggest thing that I prioritize, especially getting into this agency space, I never wanted to get into the agency space. I never wanted to be in a position where, you know, I was performing services for people, but it kind of just ended up happening, right? And it got to the point where it's at today. So what I promised myself getting into this space is, look, if I'm going to be performing services for people, I don't want to make money off of performing these services for people. I want to I want to make money off of the service itself. I'm looking to do this because I'm looking to build a portfolio. I'm looking to expand on a wider range of clientele in order to increase my profit and increase my ability to generate money. What the fuck up my steering wheel, bro? The Mercedes Alcantara, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's ass. Like, how the fuck did that happen? Anyways, I think I need to get an aftermarket steering. Shit pisses me off. Anyways, point being is, to perform in this industry, guys, you have to figure out how you can generate some sort of recurring revenue. Because the 1 month where you go on to spend $50,000 on marketing and you make back $50,000, but you still have to go pay out another $25,000, $30,000 a month in your team's payroll and stuff like that, and then you have certain liabilities here, and then you're down all of a sudden $45,000, $50,000 on that month, and then you have to go spend another $50,000 next month on marketing. Bro, you guys are gonna come to realize this shit gets fucking difficult, especially if you have no money coming in on a month-to-month basis. And the hard part is, people love cheap services, right? So you have to be able to sit there and create a service that's as appealing as possible and come off as cheap as possible, but then still have to perform at the highest level possible. And that's what's difficult in business. Like, you guys look around and you see the amount of people making money in business. You see this person with these margins. You don't know what issues these people run into. The people that you're seeing with, you know, fucking $50 million, $100 million, bro, there's absolutely no way. Business is a matter of problems and solutions, right? The people that make the most money in business are the people that are the most probable to be able to come up with the best solution possible for any issue that arises. So what that really comes down to, especially when I see it, is the amount of issues that I've ran into just in my industry, right? And to have seen how I've been able to overcome certain issues, I'm thinking about this at like a 10, 20x scale, 50 to 100x scale from where I'm at. Like, think about these people that like run shit like Google, or like you run stuff like, I don't know, like Twitter and whatever. Like, think about the bigger things. Like, think about the pharmaceutical companies, right? Where they have so many liabilities, where they're making a shit ton of money, but at the same time, they're getting lawsuits because they're releasing, what do you call it? Prescription drugs that are supposed to help people, and some people end up dying from it. Some people end up having side effects from it. And because they end up dying, it's like, now you're owning this big pharmaceutical company, and obviously somebody just dying is kind of just a number to you. But when you put this into perspective, bro, and you really start to think about it, like, that's a whole life, right? Or like, think about it, like, I saw something come out where, and obviously you would never expect this to happen, just releasing like an AI or whatever it is. But I'm pretty sure somebody had a conversation with like ChatGPT or something, or I don't know if it was ChatGPT, but it was like one of these AIs, right? And they started having a conversation with AI, and basically, one way or another, this kid led to killing himself as a recommendation from AI. And now it's like, well, that's a liability on whoever invented this AI, right? But you're inventing this thing with the purpose of helping people, and I'm sure as much as it's helped, you know, hundreds of thousands of people, the one person that ends up having an experience like that, and it's so significant that it turns into a large liability for the person that came up with it. Like, you don't think about these things. Or like, for example, I saw somebody release something saying, or I think it was the owner of ChatGPT or OpenAI, was basically saying like, the amount of money that is being spent just off people saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is like ridiculous, but you would never assume those kinds of liabilities. Or, for example, you look at Coinbase, right? Coinbase posted something about a $20 million ransom, and this is just something that arises, and now you have to think about the liabilities to all the people that are using your platform, right? Like, you're making this platform with the purpose of allowing people to buy and sell crypto and transfer crypto, like that's what you're doing, but then you have somebody hack your server. And it's not anything, well, I mean, that's a pretty predictable one where people are going to try to do that, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not something that should be happening. So when you guys see this type of stuff happen and you have a company, right, you have to think about to yourself, well, what kind of liabilities am I taking on by performing these services? What kind of liabilities am I taking on by having this or having that? And let it seep in, right? Really think about it. And then you have to think about, well, shit, I'm going to spend X amount of money to account for this liability and this liability. The whole point, guys, is like, you guys have to start realizing, like, a lot of the money that you make, you have to be able to plan ahead for things that you never really predicted to happen. Most people aren't going to make $50 to $100 million in their agency. You guys aren't going to have that much liquid capital like that to deal with these bigger issues, right? And in the business space, when you look at it like $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, for like how much money it actually is. It's not that much money, because you make $10 million. Well, you're technically held liable to $10 million, but you only have maybe $1 million or $2 million profits. And out of those profits is what you essentially have to account for liabilities with, right? So your liability is always going to be much larger than the amount of money that you've generated, always. So you always have to be constantly bringing in more and more revenue. Like, bro, this shit is not that easy, man. This shit is not that easy. So yeah, I mean, there's my 10-minute tangent. Right now, it's currently Sunday, and I'm about to head to the grocery store to go pick up some seasoning so I could go season some food. I cook on Sundays. Sunday is just that day for me, the day to cook, relax, and take whatever. But I got to make sure this video gets up. Other things I do want to touch base on when it comes down to the agency stuff. I think this week and moving forward for like the next month or so, a lot of you guys are in my comments talking about, oh, well, you're telling me that you make money off doing drop shipping, da 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 da. Bro, drop shipping was an entry point for me. Drop shipping, bro, as much as you guys might have some negative connotation to it, and especially over the past couple of years, I think the issue is the people that hate drop shipping are the same people that haven't made money in the industry. That's why people always have something to say about it. Don't be that person that comes up on talking about something without actually having experience in that industry. Dropshipping is simply just a business model, right? It's literally just a way to get product from one place to another, well, and making a profit. It's literally just a way of fulfilling orders. Because otherwise you would all you would have to do is order products from China or wherever your fucking manufacturer is, have them ship it all the way to the United States, Canada, or wherever you guys are delivering product from, and then deliver it from that warehouse. It comes down to the same thing. So a lot of you guys, I don't know. People are a lot more prone to like hating and holding an opinion on something because they're trying to cope, and they're trying to just say, look, you guys are never gonna make money doing this, because they're afraid. They're afraid to see you make money with it. They're afraid to take another route. What you guys don't realize too, oftentimes people are afraid to do something, and because they're afraid to do that, they talk bad on other people that are doing it, because it's an excuse as to why they didn't do it. So anyways, I want to talk about my journey a lot more this upcoming week, this upcoming month. Talk about how I got from one place to the other. Talk about how I got into the agency space, and talk about, I guess, what my goals are, my plans are behind the agency. Even with my channel, reaching out to you guys, I want to document the journey, and I also want to put stuff together to be able to help people that are actually trying to get involved into the agency space, into the dropshipping space, and put together these systems for you guys. Because in business, what I've come to realize is the people that do well end up doing well because they understand what their strong suits are, and they understand what they have to outsource, right? So me personally, I think I tend to do well because I'm somebody that understands how to build out systems of operations that allow me to facilitate and automate my business, right? Not to say automate it to a point where I don't have to do any work. There's always gonna be systems that break down that you're gonna have to dive into and fix, but I'm good at finding issues and finding solutions and putting together the simplest solutions possible. Most people kind of overcomplicate things, try to keep things cheap. I'm willing to spend the money on things that I know will be valuable for the company and will be valuable for our clientele. So yeah, I mean, stay tuned for that stuff this coming week. We'll touch base on a lot. I'm here once again Sunday, just catching a vibe. And shit, I mean, for those of you that want to network, link to the Telegram is always in the description down below. And please leave a like and comment, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I appreciate all the love and support on the videos. Keep them coming. I got something for you guys coming soon. Appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.